You're ready to set off toward the mines and defeat the primal. But I have an errand to run, the boy tells you. You can do some shopping while you wait. And without further ado, he walks away. You despair for a moment, having never gone shopping before. But with nothing else to do, you set out in search of shops. You see a woman holding a parasol and can't help but wonder what it's for. You enter a store and see dozens upon dozens of monsters. You quickly ready your weapon for a fight. Just then, the shopkeeper rushes out. "Stop," he exclaims. "Wait." He claims that the monsters are for sale. Upon closer inspection, you realize that they are bound by chains. Something about the conversation leaves you feeling icky, so you turn to leave. But you realize that you could harness your subterran power to control the monsters. The gatekeeper bars your path. Only those with business in the mines are allowed to pass. After you enter the shop, you realize you have no clue what to do next. Not long after, the shopkeeper comes over to speak to you. You tell her that you don't understand how shopping works. Though initially surprised, the woman patiently explains all you need to know. She then asks if there is anything you would like to buy and shows you her wares. Anything else? The shopkeep inquires. Hey there, miss. How about a pretty hairpin? I think it'd suit you perfectly. A man calls out to you. He seems to be some sort of merchant. Knowing that you cannot waste your precious money, you scurry away. What can I help you with? The shopkeep asks. Anything else? The shopkeep inquires. You enter the inn, and the proprietor looks like you don't need to pay to rest here. You step out of the inn, feeling rested and ready. No sooner have you set foot inside the game parlor than you hear the boy at the counter call to you, "Let's play cards." The boy returns, wiping his hands on his clothes. You wonder if his errand was just a simple trip to the restroom. The time has finally come to fight the primal. The gatekeep, having gotten official notice from the senators, allows you to pass. As you walk, the boy asks, "Do you think I can summon the monsters in the cards too?" Unsure yourself, you decide to test it right away. "I guess you could just let the monster go," he remarks. Faced with your hate-filled denial, he murmurs, "Right." You spot something half-bit. Alas, the lid is shut quite tight, but you worked so hard to get it out of the sand. This chest is opening, you decide, even if you have to smash it to pieces. You take up your weapon and whack the chest with vigor. The monster that was hiding inside leaps out. Naturally, it attacks you for disturbing its peaceful slumber. A masterful victory! Thrilled at having felled another monster, the party continues on its way. I expected nothing less. You can't cross quicksand on foot. this? You ask. The boy tells you it's a mine cart. Seeing the intrigue glimmer in your eyes, the boy says, walking is a pain, so we might as well get in. Battle time. Get him! Sometimes you get lucky. battle. A masterful victory. To battle. Get him. Monsters block your path. Knowing you need to press on, you and the boy decide to strike them down. expected nothing less. This would have been so handy to have back home. You whisper to yourself. Anything that needed to be moved was done so by hand. By everyone's hand. The boy quietly lends an ear as you reminisce. It sounds like you were all one big family, he comments. You nod. A little you realize that you've been the only one talking. And but the boy simply shrugs you off. I don't see the point, he says, somewhat sadly. Battle time. Beautiful. I expected nothing. A large lever protrudes from a fixture in the ground. What might it control, you wonder? You heave the lever over to the other side. You hear rails squeaking somewhere off in the distance as they slide into place. sinister beast rears its head. It appears to be the Steel Primal. The monster seems enraged and has lost its senses. "It's all your fault," you exclaim, brandishing your weapon at the beast. The Primal unleashes a roar, then lunges at you. Shields up. Unfortunately, it seems this is the end of your journey.
Battle time. A sinister beast rears its. The monster seems enraged. All your fault, you exclaim. The primal unleashes a roar, then lunges at you.
Shields up.
You successfully defeat the beast and capture it in a card. Your breathing is ragged after having avenged your village. Let's report back, the boy says. And the two of you return to Steelborough. If you choose leave, you'll be whisked outside right away. You decide to leave the mines behind right away. The senators await your return when you tell them you have defeated the primal. They demand why, you ask. Not, we're declaring war on the neighboring town, they tell you. The primal's power will ensure our victory. Fighting beasts is hard enough. And now they want to fight? One of the men then turns to the boy and shouts, as ordered. The boy pushes you and takes the steel primal's card. When you try to take the card back, what are you doing? One of the senators roars. Give me that card this instant. He approaches the boy, and then the senators, taken aback, demand getting revenge. He answers with a twist. Did you forget who took you in, you fool? One senator, the boy spits and glares at the men. So he's getting revenge for the horror. I'm a human being, he shouts. Every last one of them. At your shocked expression, the boy says, he explains that the primal only became enraged after the senators attempted to claim its power. He also tells you that it was those same senators, that it was all a ploy to get the faced with the truth. You find yourself at a loss for words. People will come after us. Let's go, he says, then pulls you along. We'll take a sand skiff and flee, he tells you. He claims there are plenty of them in Steelborough. Just as the boy said, let's take one. Hurry, he says, running toward the boats. You scramble after him. Before you can board the boat, you stumble. What are you doing? The boy demands, though his tone is hard. Just then, guards from the city catch up to you and attack. Destroy the other boats so they can't come after us, he instructs. You summon the Steel Primal, who easily crushes all the sand skiffs. They are squashed flat. This is the only Let's go. You and the boy board the boat, then make your way out of town. According to the boy, these boats can traverse quicksand, which is impossible on foot. Meaning, if you can get across some, your pursuers won't be able to follow. There's a large swath of it to the east. We'll lose them there, he says.
To battle.
You plunge the sand skiff over the quicksand, then cautiously look around. It seems you've managed to shake your pursuers. The boy returns the Steel Primal card to you. You take the card back from him. What do we do now? You whisper. You've both gotten your revenge. Neither of you had any. He turns to you and asks, "How about you?" You question back. The boy, you place your hand to your chest and wonder what you want to do. You suddenly remember the dream. You confess, "I want to see the stars," you say. It's the boy nods. You take it. You both realize you haven't introduced yourself. Legol, where your journey to avenge your village ends. A new one with Legol begins. Several days after you escape Steelborough, Legol helps you row aimlessly through the desert. Either one of you is liable to pass out at any moment. The sand skiff you stole as you fled the city has proved that there isn't a scrap of food. You probably should have had more of a plan, you think to yourself. You fear if you make so much as a peep. The sheer effort involved, you propel the boat forward with all your might, when suddenly, a patch of quicksand swallows your sand skiff whole. Where are we? You look around, trying to figure out where. At the very least, your tight grip on the boat has put in a desert this vast. We better find some water, Legol grumbles. You nod at him and begin searching your surroundings. Unfortunately, your legs are less cooperative. They may as well be made of lead. You're so thirsty, even the act of breathing feels painful. The sun's rays beat down upon you. You open the treasure chest to find you snatch it up, but it's empty. Legol, you lift your head. There before you, impossibly, no. You shake your head as consciousness threatens to forsake. You've come at a very good time, he chirps. Ah, so you seek the compound? His words flow as Legol musters every last ounce of his strength to try and interrupt. A monster's cry issues from behind. You see, I was about to be attacked by foul beasts, the youth says. Yes, you've come at a very good time in... You certainly haven't the strength to escape. Looks like you're in for a fight. Battle time. Beautiful. Calling upon the steel primal helped you fell the monsters. What on earth was that? He peppers you with questions and comments. That was the steel primal, wasn't it? The fact that you can control it means you're one of the fabled Subterrans. You are, aren't you? I had no idea you actually existed. Well, if today isn't my lucky day, if you don't mind my asking, how do you control that beast? I have deduced that the card you're holding there is the key to controlling them, but beyond that, Ugh. Whew, this guy sure can talk. He pays your pained expression no mind as he carries on, finally realizing that he has yet to introduce himself. The young man's name is Polka, and he's on a long, winding journey as if you hadn't heard enough. He asks if you'd like to hear an explanation about the primals. You make another desperate plea for what? Polka, however, hasn't even done you the courtesy of... There are 3 kinds, he tells you. In addition to the steel primal, there exists, and all are powerful enough to cause changes in their natural... Unfortunately, your fevered brain can parse no more. Finally, Polka closes his mouth for the first time since... For he, too, has no water on his person. You stare at him, speechless. Clearly, his was a thirst brought on by incessant blood. You both look at Polka's crumpled form, and then, mind and body pushed well beyond their limits, the two of you finally surrender to sweet, sweet unconsciousness. You awaken to find yourself lying down inside a tent. Startled, you leap to your feet. "Well, you seem much better," a woman says sweetly as she enters. She says she found the three of you collapsed. You thank her and quickly ask where she's taken. She tells you Legol woke up not long before. He and Polka are at a stall outside. You exit the tent to find several more lined up before you. It looks like you've been picked up by a caravan. You arrive at the stall to find Legol and Polka devouring food as if it were a competition. You heave a sigh of relief. Legol notices you as he reaches for a bit of food. He stays his hand and instead beckons you over. Get in on. You approach the table, casually lift up a plate bearing a... Having eaten and drank your... According to Legol and Polka, a stout man treated them to their meal at the stall earlier. You find the man hurrying about. You're all... He introduces himself as the circus's ringmaster, as someone fascinated by the circus. You'd always wanted to talk before you speak so much as a syllable. The caravan is beset by Polka barges into battle unannounced. I, too, Legol asks if he can fight. You're in for a world of hurt if you underestimate science. You take up arms shoulder to shoulder with Polka and prepare to fight. To battle. The ringmaster thanks you. It seems he's at a loss for what to do. You notice, however, that he looks your way rather bashfully. You suspect, of course we'll help you. Polka blurts out before you can, but the three of you expect fair Polka turns to you and Legol, grinning from ear to ear. Let's get going. Did you hear him correctly? And just like that, Legol objects, only to be drowned out by Polka's, and so it goes that you, Legol, and Polka end up combing the desert for lost circus troopers. catches the light in the sand. That might be the bangle capable of freeing the Sand Prowler Tsar, Polka blurts out. Well, legend has it that the Sand Prowler Tsar is sealed. To hear Polka tell it, the Sand Prowler Tsar was a monster, and he's careful to note that some monsters, if Polka's telling the truth, then you're holding something pretty dangerous. You figure it can't hurt to keep something so potentially valuable. You sense another. Those were just his feet, right? Yeah, had to be. You happen upon a tent pitched in front of some ruins. Might there be another performer within? Why, yes. The young girl you see before you may well. Are you with the circus? Polka asked. Yes. Beast tamer. Circus, she says, wading through the fragmented words. You gather that a monster She goes on to lament that this is all her fault. We have to help her. He declares that he cannot abide turning away. You're inclined to agree with him. So long as there are lives to be saved, you'll fight to save them. Are you okay? Legol asks carefully, sensing that you're in pain. You nod and begin walking toward the ruins.
A masterful victory!
Get him. Wait a minute. He begins tapping on the wall in several places. There's nothing behind this wall, he said, not one to wait for permission. Legol strikes the section of wall with all his might. And what do you know? Oh, that's a scientist for you, Polka boasts, puffing out his chest. Science is awesome, you reply, jaw slack with wonder.
Sometimes you get lucky.
Battle time. Battle time. Get him! The door is shut tight. It has a keyhole, which suggests the existence of a key. Polka stops you. Wait a minute. Legol shakes his head. We should just break it down. He hits it, and with that, the wall crumbles, revealing, to your surprise, a hidden passage.
expected? You attempt to open the chest, when it looks like they were using this chest as bait. They waste no time in surrounding you and attacking. Having defeated the most, you find in all the same, Polka picks it up and tucks it away, a pleased look on his face. One never knows when a key could come in handy. Let's take it, just in case.
You come up the area around the stone monument. The whole thing feels ominous beyond words. But you dig around in your pack for something that might fit the monument's hollow. Operating on a hunch, you reach for the top. So, the Sand Prowler Czar is the monster bones littering the site. It sure looks like you've awoken the Sand Prowler Czar from its slumber. There's no getting out of this fight. The Sand Prowler Czar is but a high cracks form in the bangle. Their crooked a treasure chest peeks out from beneath the rubble. You fling the chest open with glee and find an exquisite accessory within. Beautiful. The door is shut tight. It does, however,
You slide the simple key into the keyhole and turn it. There is a satisfying click as the lock opens. With a pleased look on his face, Polka thumbs his glasses back up on his nose. To battle! You swear you see something move in the darkness. The three of you carefully step only to find it's a monster. Beautiful. Fear not, though their card shows a coffin, they're not. Something squirms in the worms. She did say the monster swallowed her, not wanting to injure the very much alive entity inside. You carefully, when you ventured into the deepest part of the ruins. What if the rat is her part? With no further leads to go on, you decide to return to the young girl for now and tell her, choose get me out now. You all resolve to leave the sand ruins immediately. You emerge from the ruins in time. Thank partner safe. Oh, isn't that lovely? Polka says, smiling. The girl announces that she's off to rejoin the rest of the main troop and trots off with her companion in tow. quite surprised to see an open-air stall set up here. You poke your head into the stall just as the merchant eyes you carefully. You're in a tough spot, he surmises, and slaps discount labels on all his wares. Live powerfully, he shouts out of nowhere, and begins deconstructing his stall. No more shopping for you, it seems. Get him! You spot an open-air stall with a sign reading, "Good spot here." You enter the stall and hear the proprietor, but this'll determine how good the money is, she continues, revealing a single die in her hand. Without warning, she sets about closing her stall. Apparently, you were her last customer for today. You gather up your things and take your leave.
Sorry. Polka looks through the telescope and yelps in surprise. You snatch it from him and have a look yourself. Monster. It's a monster. Fortunately, it hasn't noticed you yet. You hand the telescope back to Polka, and step by careful step, creep toward the monster. So, alas, the monster senses your presence and whips around, ready to fight. A masterful victory. Your surprise attack failed, but you also rid the world of another monster. That'll do. You return to the path and keep walking. The entrance to Steelborough is heavily guarded, so you turn around. They must have increased security after the scene Legol caused. The ringmaster paces back and forth, restlessly mopping sweat from his brow. He clearly cares a great deal about his performers. You see a lone tent. You approach it and peer inside, but nobody's home. A mysterious voice calls from who knows where. There it is again, clearer this time. You turn and look behind you. There's a severed head in the sand, or at least the head frantically. You all grab hold and pull in an attempt to dislodge the, and wouldn't you know it, he helpfully informs you that there are two others who were separated. He says they too may have hidden, or other. You resume your search, eyes primed to pick out anything unusual. There's a strange sound. You open it to find a very... You saved me. The boy makes a beeline for his fellow performer's tent. The oasis water looks crystal clear and safe to drink. There are even shady spots beneath the rocks to rest. The man is clearly worried about the other missing circus members. This cactus does... You reach out and touch it, but it wiggles? You saw right. She hurries back to her fellow performer's tent. Having found the remaining two performers the young man mentioned, you return to... He thanks you warmly and makes way for the ringmaster's waiting caravan. The caravan is larger than it was when you left. The young man you rescued races. I found my way back. Thank you so much for saving me. The ringmaster is next in line, peppering you. Oh, and he absolutely... Finding yourself looking forward, it looks like they took off on their own. Thinking it would be much more fun to go see the circus together, you decide to look for the pair. You find Polka holding a cup with some kind of golden... The woman whips the monster and roars with laughter. Polka nods along. Aha, you're not completely sure what you're looking at. You decide to drag Polka away and take him to the show. You find Legole stuffing some... When she notices you, she begins to... However, your features harden. Seeing this, Legole... You invite Legole to come to the show and step away. You can hear the sounds of a lively crowd coming from the circus tent. The show must be about to begin. Stepping into the tent is akin to enter. Clowns balance atop balls. Jugglers, your first circus show is infinitely... Unfortunately,
You also find yourself too vexed to fully enjoy it. You cannot stop. The young boy makes a show of stopping his ball directly in front of you and holds something out to you. Which one of these do you like best? He asks with a wink. You point at the money, but the boy simply keeps. The boy points to his own round nose. You stare intently at his nose. He then points to his hand. You look down at your own hands and what? The money is already in your hand. The boy smiles wryly at you. You cannot help but gaze at the prize that so wondrously found its way. The Beast Tamer is the next performer to take the stage, though this time she's joined not just by the rat, but other foul creatures. And just like that, the goodwill engendered by the young boy's gift evaporates, and your heart hardens anew. The Beast Tamer, however, has no idea that you harbor such simmering resentment, and begins her— or she tries to. But one of— Help! The ringmaster shouts in a panic. You instinctively grip your weapon and leap out of your seat to confront the monster. The monster is nearly dead. You prepare to strike the killing blow, only for you unleash your fury upon the girl as she protects the monster. Polka's eyes widen as she easily parries your attack. Listen, story, she says, hugging you so tightly you can hardly move. The Beast Tamer tells you it was her fault the beast went berserk. She accidentally trod on its tail as it wasn't the monster's fault, she says. Tears well up in her eyes. It was her own inexperience. The ringmaster peels her off you and gives you his heartfelt thanks for once again. Allow me to introduce you. Then he follows up the introduction with yet another. He wants Trollis to accompany you, so she can further develop her skills. Apparently, the idea came to him as soon as he saw your masterful. Trollis, trembling, turns her gaze to you. You take a moment to think it over. That's a fantastic idea. The goal turns to Trollis. We're all talking around you. Is this what you want? Trollis thinks for a moment. Yet sensing no way to push back against the overwhelming force of Polka and the ringmaster, you agree to take Trollis along. She breathes frantically through her nose. "Do best. Do best," she says eagerly. This is shaping up to be a fun journey. Polka has apparently invited him. Lugol starts to say something, but Polka is already so deep in. "We must celebrate the start of Trollis's training," the ringmaster shouts. Not a moment later, the various performers jostle you about as they rush up to wish you the best and tell you to take good care of Trollis. As the dust settles, the performers settle to sleep wherever there happens to be space. You stealthily pack your belongings. You have to get out of here. This monster-loving circus just rubs you the wrong way. You reach out to wake Lugol, to tell him you both. "I'm awake." He must have known how you felt. The two of you agree to sneak out of the circus. You approach the exit to find Polka standing. He approaches you. "Can I tell you something?" he asks. He begins to recount the story of his parents. They too, one day when Polka was very young, monsters attacked his village. His mother raced to get him to safety. She told him to run and began shouting, "The monsters, there." That was when the flames took her. Polka tells you that he began studying monsters in the hopes of one day understanding. He lowers his head and confesses that he needs your help. "You Sub-Terrans have the power I need to solve this mystery. I know it." You search his face. You nod. Polka is no longer just some. You tell Polka you'll help him once he answers. Hatred reduces the mind's capacity for serious inquiry, he notes. So, he's suppressing his hatred of them beneath a veneer of reason and logic. "Already leave?" comes another voice. "Her strength will serve us well. We should bring her with us," Polka adds. "Serve well," Trollis parrots, sweeping you off your feet. Thus were your defenses eroded and your ranks bolstered. You depart the circus with your new
Dot, dot, dot. Dot, dot, dot. Somehow, your group finds themselves wandering in the desert yet again. You had no problem with letting Polka lead the way, but the sand skiff soon sailed headlong into quicksand. No use crying over spilt milk. Don't want to waste even a drop of moisture out here, after all. Polka quips, holding a water. You lack the energy to react, despite the rest of the group wasting away under the heat and grappling with brutal thirst. Trollis seems to have maintained some vigor. Trollis's nose twitches as she sniffs at the air a bit. She picks up the scent of water to the north and heads off in that direction.